Thank you. So I have been tracking these questions for some questions I've been tracking for over 20 years now, and some for 15 years. And the questions is, for example, if we have to choose, jobs need to be prioritized before environmental protection, or the environmental crisis is man-made. Those kind of questions. And that's the overlaying subjects when it comes to the green shift. Or, for example, I accept lower standard of living in order to reduce the environmental damages. And if we take this, these questions, if we have to choose, jobs need to be prioritized in front of environment. We see those who totally agree since 2002 is basically the same levels. And this is very interesting to see that jobs needs to be prioritized, goes up when times are hard, when crises appear, when COVID hits. When you can feel the insecurity, you are voting for jobs. When times are good, you vote for environment. That's the general patterns. The environmental crisis is man-made. We also see that it's very stable when it comes to the totally disagree. It's stable around 6%. But those who say, I totally agree that the environmental crisis is man-made, has increased from 35% to 42% since 2008. But it's a stable opposition. And who has what opinion is more important than what opinion is stated. Who is having these opinions? And when we have this survey, we do it with Kantar, which is Gallup, and it's a panel of between 10,000 people and 12,000 people. And we ask, and that's my company's sort of hold here, we ask about social background. What did your parents do? What kind of education did your parents do? What profession did they have? Where did you grow up? What is your profession? What is your education? What is your income? What car do you drive? And then we find this structure. And you have to excuse, this is a PowerPoint. So we have this divide: cultural elite, economic elite, the strivers, and the common people, who see themselves as common people. We are ordinary people. We are not elite. We are not better off. We are just a common people. And if we then look at what profession do you have, what kind of industry do you work in, and we look at these questions about environmental versus jobs, and the environmental crisis is man-made. We found this, and I excuse for the visibility here, but I will explain to you that down here you have the carpenters, the electricians, people who work with their hand, who drive the cars with the goods, clean, do all the manual labor. They are more correlated that they think the environmental crisis is man-made, totally disagree, and disagree a little bit. So the more education you have, the more you're connected to the public sector, working at local government, state government, schools, you have a very secure job. You are saying that jobs, well, they're saying that environment goes before jobs. And the interesting thing is they don't risk their jobs. So how altruistic are that perspective? And that is also what they recognize. It's very easy for a public employee to be all about the environment. What do they risk? So people think, vote with their share in the future. And that is about their jobs. That is about people like us. What do we have to do in this green shift? People like us. So here is, of course, the banking guys, the financial directors. Here is the professors over there. And this cultural divide is constantly showing the same pattern year after year after year. So this is the center points. I asked this question in a survey last December. The green shift have gone too far. And those who say, I totally agree with that, is the manual labor people. Those who have jobs that they need to pull with their hands and wash, and carpenter and electricians, etc. But the more you are working with your ideas. So no. Green shift has not gone too far. I totally disagree. And this is the divide. This is the driving force behind the resistance. Driving force. And it also correlates with this expression. I like to live a life with challenges, news, and change. Manual laborers don't want that much change because they're the ones who lose their job. Or get, all this HR people want them to be better human beings. Seminars instead of working. They have to go to seminars about the United Nations climate change. They don't like that. The nature of international companies threatens democracy. That's also interesting, stable 6%. This is the radical left. And they are thinking, is this green shift driven by international corporations? Say that again. Isn't this like Philip Morris changing name, going into vaping, and want to make some effort for health? Skeptical. But they are pro this circular energy. So when we now look at public opinion, yes, populism could derail the green transition, absolutely. And there is a substance to that. It's not just that those are bad people. They are also connected to a workforce. They are also connected to hope for the future, for their children. Because when you see who gets what education, it follows so closely what their parents have as an education. And this is really important. And also, windmills, it's foreign funds. The Credit Suisse zone in Norway. And that's also something with the pride. The power is ours, belongs to Norwegian people. And when you look at the protesters, they look like the carpenters, and they are the carpenters, and they are the manual workers. And it's very interesting because every time there is a debate in Norway about the windmills, you always get a victim, an ordinary family woman who was visited by these friendly people from the windmill companies. And the result was something they did not envision and destroyed their local community and their family. And actually in Norway, we had this TV series about crooks doing drugs, prostitutes, and windmills. And the worst character was, of course, Swedish. And here he is on his private plane pitching the windmill prospects. So when the public opinion knows about the crooks, the cocaine guys with the windmills, and these ordinary people who get sacrificed, they understand it's about the Oslo elite versus the rural people, the common people. And common people don't have a share in the green shift. See? And also this Davos wanting to have meetings with our former Prime Minister Solberg, China, the windmills, energy. So I asked the Klaus, can I be frank, can I be direct? And he's Danish, so he said yes. So if we sum up this, here we go, and this is of course PowerPoint, so I have to excuse that. But they have manual positions in the labor market. They can afford to express political incorrect opinions. They don't get fired because they're not selling their opinions. They're not selling their analysis. They're selling labor. They have little academic education, and they often write with the caps lock on. They haven't learned that is academically wrong. And then up there you have the radical left says big corporations, big corporations, green shift, my ass. They don't buy it. This is a Davos thing, you know, and you know who gets all the money from that. So we don't buy into that. And then you have up on the directors, the stock market guys, they say, be aware of the ESG bullshit and government subsidies in your net present value calculations. So we have this financial trade press in Norway called Finansavisen, where they ridicule the spreadsheets that obviously the government is using for the windmill projections. And real stock traders, they need to be aware of this, because they are polluted with subsidies, and is polluted with political connections. Because you also read that who gets the subsidies from the government with the batteries, it is of course the connected people who happen to be connected to the political elite. So this is the source of resistance. And it's not from thin air, it's substantial reasons, and we need to understand that, we need to work with it in order to get this change going. Thank you so much.